Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the magnificent new Knight-Questor from the Skaventide box that Games Workshop very kindly sent me early to build up and paint for all of you, and I've been looking forward to him because I have got some Questor Soulsworn that desperately needs some leadership in these trying times of the Skaventide, so a massive thank you to them, and well, we're going to jump in and we're going to start painting it. It's been primed in grace here, just like the rest of our Stormcast, and the colour we're going to be using first is some thinned down grey Knight's Steel. And we're just going to be applying this over the top of all of the armour. Now, you've already seen the Liberators video, so there shouldn't be too much here that is a surprise, but we're still going to make it look really cool. So, I'm going to apply this over top of all the armour. And then once that's done, we'll come back. So with all that grey Knight Steel applied, we're now going to shade it with a roughly 5 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Black Templar. I'm going to apply this, as mentioned, over the top of all of the armour. So with that armour all beautifully shaded, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over the top of the boots. And any kind of joints. Like that sort of thing. But what we're also going to do here is we're going to apply this over the top of the inside of the shield, or at least the bit that we can see. So with all that Black Legion applied, we're then going to take some Cygor Brown, and we're going to apply this over the top of any belts, scabbards and straps. And what we'll also do here at this juncture is we'll apply this over the top of his hair as well. So with all that Cygor Brown applied, we're then going to take some Talassar Blue. And, well, we're going to apply this over quite a few details. So we're going to start with the tabard. And we want to do this over both the inside and the outside version of it. So, basically both sides. And that seems like I'm just kind of rambling. What I mean is, you see how it curls around the front here? We are applying it over that as well. I'm going to turn around and come through the leg. Like that. And we want to come through here as well. like that. Then, what we're also going to do with the Talassar Blue is we're going to apply this over the top of the outside of the cloak and over the top of the field of the shield. And one thing you'll also spot is that on this side there's a little bit of the shoulder just here. We are applying it over that as well. Once all that Talassar Blue is dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Ultramarines Blue and we're going to apply this over the top. So with all that Ultramarines Blue applied, as you can see, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Blood Angels Red and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the wraps. With that then done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over top of the parchment here on the shield. So with that then done, it's time to work on that fire. So we're going to be using 4 colours for this: Imperial Fist, Gryph-Hound Orange, Blood Angels Red, and Black Legion. So we're going to be applying these all at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Imperial Fist, and we're just going to really layer it on there, nice and thick. Just like that. Don't worry about getting it on the actual brazier as well. That's fine. There we go. Then what we're going to do is give the brush a quick wash. Then grab some Gryph-Hound Orange. And then we're just going to apply this towards the tips of the flames, washing the brush between each pass to the pot. Like that. Wash the brush again. Then we're going to grab some Blood Angels Red. Not that much. And then we're just going to apply this towards the kind of top third. Like that. Wash the brush one more time. Then grab a little bit of Black Legion. And just towards the tips of the flames, we're going to add some of that black. So with that flame now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Seraphim Sepia. And we're going to apply this to the inside of the cloak. And so with that then done, it's time to work on the metallic. So the first of these is going to be some thinned down Runelord Brass. And we're going to apply this over the top of the scale mail here on the tabard. So with that then done, we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. I'm going to apply this over the top of the sword blade. And so with that done, we're now going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to apply this over, well, pretty much all of our remaining details. Of course, the only area we're going to avoid is the kind of lightning bolt design around the shield face and the face itself. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to start shading the model. And the first shade we're going to use is some Guilliman Flesh. And the reason we're using that is because we're going to use this to shade all the gold, just like that. However, we're also going to apply this over the top of our Questor's face. With all that Guilliman Flesh applied, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this to shade the Runelord Brass and the sword. So with that all done, our Knight-Questor is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. And, well, it's looking pretty good. And there's one thing that we haven't really done, which is the white on the back here. But that's because we're going to get to it later. But we didn't need to kind of do any shading to it. But if you do want to do some shading to it and you want to leave it and it's all in pristine condition, unlike mine, you can just throw some Nuln Oil over the top. But we've got a number of white details to deal with. So we'll get to that a bit later on. So what we're going to do now, however, is we're going to take this guy to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights, and the first of these is going to be a layer of some thinned down iron hand steel. And we're going to be using this over the top of all the flat parts of all the armor. Just like that sort of thing. Don't worry about any of the kind of really congested details, like this bit of trim around the outside of the armor. We don't need to do that. We're just going to add a little highlight to that in a minute. So with that done, just for a bit of fun, what we're going to do is we're going to take some black Templar. I'm going to thin it down with 2 parts Lahmian medium. And we're just going to apply this over the top of 2 halves of the blade. Do it over this one here like that, and on the other side do it over this one as well. So with that black Templar applied to the sword blade, as you can see, it gives it that really nice kind of two-tone shadowing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to highlight the blade using some thinned down Ironbreaker. So with that all done, I've added a couple of little nicks and scrapes across the blade as well, just to make it look pretty cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some thinned down Stormhost Silver. I'm going to use this to, one, add a little kind of spot highlight to the blade towards the top of it, so make it nice and bright, shiny, like that. But what we're also going to do with the Stormhost Silver is we're going to use this to highlight the rest of the armour. So with that all done, all the silver is now finished, so what we can do is move on to the gold. Now, we're going to be doing, again, a couple of relayers here. And, well, we're going to start with some thinned down Liberator Gold. And just over the top of the knee and the shoulder, we're essentially going to apply this Liberator Gold over those flat areas. With that Liberator Gold applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour, and over the top of the flat areas of the shield, so mostly the trim, we're going to use this to relay it back here. So with that then done, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Stormhost Silver to 1 part Retributor Armour mix. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the gold and the Runelord Brass. So with that now done, we've actually done a huge amount of the miniature. So it's now time to work on those last few areas. So the colour we're going to be using first is some thinned down Hoeth Blue. And we're going to be using this to highlight all of the blue. With all that Hoeth Blue applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Fenrisian Grey. I'm going to use this to add a little spot highlight to the sharpest parts in all that blue. So with all that blue now highlighted, what we can do is move on to all the white. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Corax White here, and we'll use this now to relayer any of these kinds of little bits of decoration. So there's one here on the chest plate. We've got the little semicircle underneath it as well, but what we do also have is one here on the gauntlet, and then of course we have the lightning bolt around the outside of the shield face back here. And then you may want to club up for this, but what we're also going to do is use this to relayer now the inside of the cloak. So with all of that Corax White applied, what we're then going to do is take some thinned down white scar. I'm going to use this to highlight all of that white. So with that all done, just before we engage in some more highlighting, I'm going to do something nice and simple, which is to take some Casandora Yellow and just apply this over the top of the flames. Just to add a little bit more richness of colour in there. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is jump back into highlighting. I'm going to take some thinned down Questor Brown. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the leather and his hair. So with that Questor Brown all applied, we then want to take a small amount of flayed one flesh, and we're going to use this to highlight the face. So with that then done, we want to take a teensy tiny little bit of Black Legion. I'm going to use this over the top of his eyes. And so with that then done, what we want to do is we want to take a teensy tiny little dot of Screaming Skull. And we want to apply this into the corners of the eyeballs and to highlight the teeth. And so with that done, just to finish things off, we're going to take some Blood Angels Red. And we're going to apply this over the top of all the little gems. And so with our base now complete in the same style as the rest of the Stormcast that we've done so far, and if you want to see how you can do that, you can check out the Lord Vigilant or Gryph-Stalker video. Our Knight-Questor is now finished, and well, like I said at the top of the video, I do have some Questor Soulsworn, which you can also see how to paint here in a Clearing the Backlog Hallowed Knights video. I've now got him to lead them, and it's a pretty spicy 1-2 combo. I'm very excited for 4th edition. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.